one is the Money Saboteur book. So if you have those ebooks, go ahead and grab them. Also, if you have this journal, go ahead and grab it. So the goal for today is we're going to understand the foundation to build your prosperity roadmap. And we are going to understand what prosperity is. We're going to reveal our money origin story, understand our money blocks and our money saboteur, as we've been talking about all week. And today we have the tools so that we can dive a little deeper. So I want to start just by sharing why this matters. Because I've been having conversations with women all week that are experiencing a couple of things. Either they're feeling burned out, or they've been in business, maybe a coaching business for 5 or 10 years, and they're just not getting the results that they want. Maybe they're feeling burned out at work. They're not in a place of feeling resourced or supported. And so why this matters is because I know that for each of you that are here doing this work, I know that your service to other people is important to you. And it's important that you are supported and resourced so that you can show up as the best version of yourself in that service to other people to support them. You're here because you are a leader at work, if you're an executive, or you are a business owner, either a coach, a healer, a practitioner of some sort, and you love the work that you do, and sometimes you feel overwhelmed, burned out, or exhausted, and you just don't know when it's going to start coming all together. I created this course because I've been there and I understand what that feels like. And the one thing that I've learned is that things really do take time when we know that they're meant to be. And so when you're doing something that you know that you're meant to do, that's where the embodied trust, the piece that is prosperity consciousness, that's when that piece really comes into place. When you get to choose to trust that what you're doing and you choose to show up over and over again is leading to something bigger and greater than you are even capable of seeing in this moment. And I see this time and time again. I see this in my personal life. I see it with the clients that I work with. Sometimes I'll have ladies that will come back a couple of years later because I've created something new and they're ready for that next level. I see it in both of my daughters. I see it in my own coaching business, and I see it in the businesses of the women who I get to co-create and coach with. Trust is a really big piece. I've been hearing a lot from the women this week, and the feedback is the thing that sticks with them the most is that trust component, because that trust component leads to deeper connection in relationships. It leads to a deeper sense of freedom and peace. And it's the opposite of feeling disempowered, using disempowered language, and feeling anxious or frustrated that things aren't working the way that you imagined they would be. So that's what this week is all about. Today we're going to create your prosperity roadmap. I'm going to share the screen with you for those that are joining me through Facebook. You'll be able to see it. For those of you on Instagram, I'd invite you to go over to Facebook so that you can join us, or join the link below so that you can get the ebooks. So today we're going to transmute your money story, aligned to the frequency of wealth and embody prosperity consciousness. One moment. Let me make sure I get the right ebook up. So I'm going to share with you today how to create your prosperity roadmap, the Money Saboteur ebook, and the Prosperity Blocks ebook. Those should be the 3 that you have received in your email if you go back and check your email. So right now we've got the 6 areas of money blocks up. So we'll go ahead and start with those because we talked about those yesterday and we talked about the saboteur, and for whatever reason this is the screen that wants to show up. We're going to circle back to this later when we get into creating your prosperity roadmap. Some of the reasons that you might be struggling with not believing you have enough time, money, or energy to do the things you want is one of these 6 reasons, one of these blocks that show up. And not only is this a block to money, but it's a block to receiving. It's a block to living in prosperity and freedom. So the first one that I often see, and probably because of the type of women that I serve, which tend to be very purpose-driven, high-performing women, is that hard work equals success. So we've been wired to believe that when we work hard, it's a badge of honor and it will give us success. And I'm not going to read through all of these, but I'll read a couple of those. But I want you to invite you to think, do I have this belief that when I have to work hard, either a certain number of hours or it has to feel a certain way in order to be successful? And I want to give you an example of how this can show up subconsciously and be really sneaky. When somebody gives you a compliment on something you do really well, do you respond with, thank you, I work hard? Because that is one of the first things that often the women that struggle with this will say, is that, yes, thank you, but I worked hard to earn that. That's a way that we can dim our light. So hard work equals success is one. The second one that you're going to see on the money box list, which is also in the prosperity journal, is that money isn't spiritual. And so because of the work that I do in helping wellness leaders and practitioners, and I've supported yoga teachers, retreat leaders, health coaches, this one I see particularly in those groups of women. And it's the belief that when we're here to do our soul work, we shouldn't be charging too much for it. We're here in service. We're not here for the money. And I want to invite you to consider that money is a vehicle for change. It allows us to create more change in the world. It amplifies our voice and our values. So we can shift that belief into realizing that the more resourced we are, the more we have to offer. And I shared an example yesterday of when I get to host a retreat for women and it requires a $10,000 deposit. I get to do that because my business is resourced. So these are some of the things that people say. If you're looking at the screen or looking at your ebook right now, it's just that sense of that it's not spiritual to have money. I shouldn't be charging for the work that I'm doing. I'm just here to help people. The third money block that comes up is that money is evil. Money is the root of all evil. And this can come from if you find yourself saying money creates problem, wealth equals money, you can't trust friends. If you make a lot of money, you won't have friends, or you won't be able to trust them. Money will corrupt you. It's a bad influence. People with money are selfish. People with money are narcissistic, or too much money will corrupt my values. When the truth is that money is an energy that is an amplifier. So who you are will be amplified because it's an energy that amplifies. And so yes, if you're currently a greedy person, then that might be amplified even more. But if you have this block, my guess is that you're not one of those people. You're actually one of those people who is worried about taking up too much space. You don't want to take too much. You don't feel like you should be paid for your services, and you are exactly the person that should be paid for your services. The fourth block is that wealthy people are bad in some way. They're unauthentic, they're fake, they're greedy, they're selfish, they're talented. You have to be talented to be wealthy. Dishonest, self-centered, or maybe they're not spiritual. The fifth block that comes up, and all of these are in the prosperity journal. We talked about them yesterday. We're going a little deeper in on them today. So grab your prosperity blocks list from the email if you don't already have it, is that scarcity and shame around failure and debt. And this is probably the second biggest one that I see. If you were with me yesterday, you saw when I had Audrey on here talk about the biggest block for women and men, because she supports them in small businesses, is shame around scarcity and debt. And if you're a small business owner, chances are, if you haven't made a bad business decision, then you probably aren't that successful, because it takes making those bad decisions to get clarity on what does work and what is aligned for you. As someone who's been in the coaching industry for 15 years, I have made my fair share of very bad business decisions. And even when we think we have it figured out, it can show up in a new way. So scarcity or shame around failure of debt is the belief that debt is a sign of failure, a sign of shame, or a lack of maturity, a lack of self-responsibility. That debt runs in my family, or I'm not worthy of making good money. No one will pay me for what I do. Like, I can't get paid to do what I love to do. There's a lot of societal norms and cultural norms that the way that our education system is created, that there's a certain path that creates successful people that can really hold us back from doing the things that we actually really love, that might not require that path that is cultivated for what our society defines as successful. Other thoughts and beliefs that might come up is, I won't feel worthy unless I make this amount of money. I won't feel worthy unless I make this much every year, every hour. I'm not worthy of investing in. I don't have that type of disposable income to invest in myself. I can't take that money from my family to invest in myself because I'm not worth it. I don't know if I'll be successful. I don't know if this is going to get me the result that I want. So all of those decisions are based in scarcity and lack of trust. And that is the opposite of what prosperity consciousness is. And then another one that comes up is, I don't have time to make a lot of money, which is really interesting because time and money and energy are very much integrated in our belief system. And what we often think about one of them is what we think about other ones. Even when we start to use the word expensive, it's too expensive. It's too expensive to be healthy. It's too expensive to create a successful business. It's when we use the word expensive, what we really mean is that we don't see the value in the price that is being offered. And the last money block that we'll find is just that it's not aligned with our values and beliefs. So that would look like people will see me differently if I make a lot of money. People will think I'm selfish. They'll think I'm greedy. They'll laugh at me. They'll judge me. Who am I to charge this much? People will think I'm a fake if I charge too much. People will envy me. People will use me if I'm successful. People marry for money. People divorce over money. I'm only worth, again, putting a cap, this amount of money. Or it's not my birthright to be rich or wealthy. Money controls people and money cannot be controlled. So if you have the ebooks with you, go ahead and take a look at that book that lists there's like 150 thoughts and beliefs that we can say to ourselves that are listed under the prosperity blocks. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close this one down, and I'm going to bring up the prosperity roadmap ebook. So if you're just joining us, go ahead and grab in your email the Create Your Prosperity Roadmap ebook. Just give me 1 second while this is coming up. So as we go through creating your prosperity roadmap, we're going to create the foundation through 5-element wealth. Now, I've talked about that. You'll see this in the prosperity journal if you have it. So today what we're going to cover as we finish is building a foundation through 5-element wealth, understanding prosperity consciousness, clarifying your why does this even matter, revealing your personal money origin story, redesigning your wealth blueprint, and creating your legacy blueprint. So this is when we get to shift from what isn't working to the person that we want to become, that we know is possible, because that's why we're here, because we're ready and willing and committed to shifting something in our life and in our business. So as a bonus today, you'll begin to understand how intimacy, love, joy, and creativity and well-being are connected to our ability to live in prosperity. So it's the reason why financial freedom is one of the 5 elements to living well, because it's a way that we get to be resourced and nourished so that we can live the life that we know that we're meant to. So this is just a little bit about me. I am a coach and a mentor for wellness leaders and experts, purpose-driven women to thrive and prosper in their life and business. And I really love to support women to build a business around their life, a prosperous business around their life. And one of the ways I teach women to do that that areas that I'm an expert in is through retreats. I've been hosting retreats since 2014, and I have a retreat facilitator and coaching certification that I walk women through in a mentorship to help them create an extra 6 figures in their business through retreats. So today, as we cover understanding prosperity consciousness, I want to invite you to listen in to podcast episodes 156 to 165. It's a 10-week series on the Body and Soul Wisdom podcast, where I share with you what prosperity consciousness is. You'll find a visualization, you'll find a meditation to support you into that embodied trust. Because prosperity consciousness is an energetic shift in your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. So there's that Gandhi quote in the book that I'm going to go to it so that I say it correctly. But it's the idea that your thoughts become your beliefs, become your actions, become your reality. So your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. So you can find this quote in the front of the prosperity book. This is what prosperity consciousness is. So when I see, for example, today's workshop, 43 people signed up for the workshop and only one person is joining us. So where is the action aligned with your intention? If this is something you want and you're going to consciously choose to spend your time here, you're going to get the results. If you're just clicking away and unconsciously consuming, then you will not live in the consciousness of prosperity, which is that of a conscious investor, one who chooses their time, energy, and money wisely. Because time, energy, and money are all interlinked. So we get to do this, and the reason I created this journal is because we get to redesign the reticular activating system, which is your subconscious, through these journal prompts. These journal prompts were created to take you into the person you want to become and let go of the person that you think that you've been, so that you can really shift your thoughts, beliefs, actions, and your reality. Prosperity consciousness is aligning to new empowering beliefs, which includes awareness around and resonance around your physical well-being, your mental, emotional, spiritual, and your financial well-being. So if you're joining us on Facebook, you see the tree of prosperity. You will see these 5 components growing from the tree of prosperity, which is where you get to live in an abundance of health, wealth, and love. This consciousness, this frequency is embodied trust. It's trusting that even when you can't see the result, you just know so deeply that you're meant to go on this path or do this thing. Take that trip, have a child, meet your soulmate, whatever it is, you just know without any proof that this is aligned for you. It's that intuitive, sacral gut feeling that some people refer to it as that, of just that deep inner knowing and that wisdom. That's what prosperity consciousness is. And living from a place of being willing to make the decision from that place every day, not from scarcity or fear, but from the place of trust. So what is 5-element wealth? The foundation for prosperity. It's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial. Physical, I like to call body wisdom, which is where we intuitively let our bodies lead us. We listen to our intuition through our sacral. We allow ourselves to be led with decisions from our heart, from a healthy place, not a wounded place. We are discerning with our thoughts. We keep healthy boundaries, but we don't overthink things. We take care of our body through nutrition and movement so that there's no stagnation in the body. The nutrition and the movement are non-negotiable because it's very surface level well-being, meaning that's just the first step to living well. If those things aren't in place, if we have sabotaging behaviors in the foods that we eat, and if we're not exercising and taking care of ourselves, then the body that our soul is meant to be in isn't going to allow us to live the purpose that we're meant to. So that has to come first. The second piece to this is the mindset and the mental well-being. Hi, Alyssa. So this is where it requires a positive mindset, which is where we shift into thinking of what is working and what is possible versus what isn't working, what's not possible, what's not available. Most people live their lives looking at what is not working. So when we shift into what is possible, what is working, and who we are becoming, this is where we redesign that reticular activating system. We redesign the reticular activating system to shift our thoughts, beliefs, actions, and reality into who we are becoming. The third component of the prosperity tree, prosperity consciousness in 5-element wealth, is emotional empowerment. So we've got our body wisdom, our mindset. The emotional well-being is all about self-regulation. It's self-regulation of our nervous system. This is where the breath work comes in. This is where the somatic coaching comes in. This is where we get to make decisions based on that future version of ourself that we're ready to step into. And we recognize and realize that we get to choose to respond or react to what's happening to us. And when we get to a place where we've done the inner work, we've done the shadow work, we don't take things personally anymore. We're able to respond from a healthy place. I talk about survivor strategies and our healthy self. When we get to choose from our healthy self, we start to live in alignment with where we're going, what our soul is meant to do. So emotional empowerment can be challenging to work through. It's also going to be one of your greatest gifts because you get to release attachments to outcome, which is a sign that you're living in prosperity consciousness, which is embodied trust. The fourth one is spiritual growth. We're hardwired for spiritual growth. And so everybody's path and list can look different. But everything that we are seeking in our life, everything that our soul came here to do is actually already available to us. Most people are trapped in cycles of busyness and overwhelm and literally missing the opportunities that are right in front of their face. So this is where we get to sink into stillness, listen to the wisdom of our body, listen to the wisdom of our heart and our intuition, and allow ourselves to be guided in that way. The fifth component is financial freedom. That's why we're here. And we get to be resourced. We get to allow our business to be an expression of our soul out into the world so that we can serve at a higher capacity for what we know we're meant to do. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I want to invite you to rate yourself. Where are you on your physical health, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, and the path to financial freedom? Because this is going to give you an indication of where your foundation needs to start. And then, in order to get to each of these 5 components, there are some qualities that we want to embody. Those are vulnerability, trust, capacity to receive, and nourishment. So I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you on your level of vulnerability and intimacy in relationships? How deeply do you allow yourself to be seen, heard, and connected in the relationships in your life? How easily do you trust on a scale of 1 to 10? How good are you at receiving on a scale of 1 to 10? How good are you with vulnerability, with trust, with receiving, and then with nourishment on a scale of 1 to 10? Because those are going to be the pathways that are going to help you to build that foundation through 5-element wealth to embody prosperity and open up that capacity to receiving when it comes to financial freedom. So go ahead and let me know what number comes up for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at with vulnerability, trust, receiving, intimacy, and nourishment? If you've got your ebook with you, or if you have your journal with you, we're going to move into the amplify your why. So why are you even here? Now, a lot of the women that I serve are entrepreneurs, not all of them. Some of them are high-level executives either in the medical field or working as engineers, or I work with all kinds of women. So this is your chance to really get clear on why are you here? What capacity for receiving are you ready for? Are you ready for a deeper level of intimacy? Are you ready to receive more financial freedom, time freedom? Are you looking for more energy? And we're going to start that by, if you have this journal, you can fill it out in your prosperity journal. If you have a regular journal, go ahead and grab that. But one of the things I talk about in prosperity is energy loves clarity. Energy loves clarity. And so we want to align all of our decisions with our values. So if you don't know what your 5 foundational core values are, I want to invite you to spend some time thinking about what those are, because every decision that you make in your life should be aligned with those core values. So what are your 5 values? Go ahead and share them in the comments. What are your 5 core values? What are skills and roles that you hold in life? So by skills, I mean, what are things that you're naturally really good at? Some people are really good at fitness. Some people are good at baking or cooking or math, or like, what are those things that we often just forget because they come so easily to us? And then what are the roles that you have? So you could be a mom, a business owner, a friend, a wife, a coach or mentor. Those are my roles. So consider for a moment, what are the skills and roles that you have? What are the values that you hold? What are characteristics, 5 top characteristics that people who know you really well would define you as? And are you really being seen as the person that you want to show up as? So if you value fun, would somebody characterize you as somebody who is fun? If you value health, would somebody characterize you? Do they see you as a reflection of health? Characteristics are words that other people see us as, or that we see ourselves as. So one way that you can double check that is by asking 5 of your closest friends, what are 5 words that you think describe me? And this is a really good double check to see if you're living in alignment with your truth, because you want to show up as the person aligned with your values. And that is going to get you on the path to prosperity, because you will be living in alignment and in clarity and in trust, so that every clear decision is taking you towards that path of the vision to greater prosperity, receiving health, wealth, and love. And then lastly, what are your talents and passions? Getting super clear on what your talents and passions are is going to help you define your why. So the next question, again, these questions are in the journal. If you don't have a copy, you can find this prosperity journal 90-day journaling experience to unlock your wealth blueprint on Amazon. Some of these journal prompts that we're doing today will be found in there. But if money were no object, what would you do differently? Would you travel more? Would you donate to humanitarian efforts? Would you hire a cook? What would you do differently? Because somewhere in your life, many people are constricted by the belief that they don't have the money to do the things they want to do. And this is what we're here to do, is to shift that. We're here to really see what is already in place and supporting you and ready to support you so that you can live the life you want. So instead of saying, I don't have the money to do that, shifting into, where am I already resourced? Who do I know? Or what can I create in order to have this experience that I want to have? That is a total mindset shift. And when you start to do that, your energy shifts and you start to attract more experiences that are going to feel like they're not maybe attainable. But when you start shifting your behavior into believing what's possible versus looking every time at what's not working, you will have more opportunities come your way, and you're going to get to practice leaning into that trust and taking that leap of faith into those opportunities. And then more is just going to keep coming. That's one way that prosperity and abundance comes to you. Second question is, if you had financial freedom, what would change in your life? How would your life be different? A lot of women that I've coached over the years, they say they want financial freedom probably because we're doing this course together, but they don't know what their own version of that definition is. they'll say something that they've heard before that they think sounds good. Financial freedom means something different for everybody. Financial freedom for me means that I get to have a multiple six-figure business, but I have a lot of time freedom. I get to travel a lot, which is what I do. Personally, financial freedom to me in this moment, someday a seven-figure business, maybe that's in the works for me when my kids are grown, which is only 3 years from now. But for now, it's really about experiences and quality time with my kids while supporting women that I enjoy supporting. I get to choose who I get to co-create with. Everything is from a place of joy. It's quality over quantity. Like there's just very specific energy to my definition of financial freedom. So what is your definition to financial freedom? Is it paying off the credit card bills? Is it managing and being intentional with your money? Is it just not worrying about where the next paycheck's going to come from? Is it having 5 investment properties? There's so many different levels of financial freedom. What is this for you? So this is your next journaling question. And then the next question is, if I had an abundance of wealth, how would I give back? And I have this question here because I feel that it's really important to have that foundation of the bigger picture. Why does any of this matter in the first place? Because we can't take anything with us when we die, except our soul. But everything in the physical realm, we don't take with us. So none of that probably really matters anyway to you. I know it doesn't really matter to me. I'm really more about the experiences and the quality of relationships in my life, in my personal life and in my business life, who I get to serve and support. That is my love language, is quality time. So it's really that for me. Until you tap into that bigger why, you may not be driven from deep down inside. And so I had this experience with it was probably my third business coach. I was at a business conference in Atlanta, January of 2018, with my coach at the time. Her name was Pamela. And I was in a room of hundreds of wellness practitioners and coaches. And there was an opportunity to donate to women's wellness in Africa. And I'm very passionate about women's wellness, especially prenatal wellness, because of my own personal experiences. And I can remember I donated $200. I think it was like $175. It was like a funny number. That's what I donated. And there was a woman who stood up and she donated $10,000. And I just started crying because I was like, gosh, I would really love to give $10,000 to something that I really believe in. And this is part of my why, is that when women like us who care about the rest of the world, want to help shift the energy of the world, money is a resource that helps create transformation. It's a vehicle for change. And I started to realize I had been playing small because one of my beliefs was that money isn't spiritual and I don't need the money. I'm just here in service to other people. And when I realized that if I had a 7-figure business like this woman did, I'd have no problem donating $10,000, that I could create that change in the world that shifted something in me. And I started to realize this has never been about me. This has always been about the collective. This has always been about being in service in a bigger way to others. And I wrote that down in my journal. And I look at that every year when I do my year-end review and I set my financial goals. I remember that moment because it's a goal of mine. And there are several organizations which I choose to support now. I am not in a place to support with $10,000. One day it is my intention that I am able to do that. And I just had such an emotional release in that moment of just realizing this is why we do this. This is why we do this, because there are so many things that we love and we're passionate about in the world, and we get to support that. There's a lot of people with money in the world that are not supporting those things, and they're supporting really unhealthy, negative things. And I want to shift that. I want to be a part of this revolution. I want you to be a part of it, where we get to say, as conscious women, no, money isn't, we're going to support things that make the world a better place. I'm going to come off my soapbox. I'm super passionate about that. And it's the bigger why. getting clear on why is this important to you in the first place. So now we're in the area of the 6 money origin blocks. If you're looking at your ebook along with me, or if you're joining me on Facebook Live, you can see it from here. I mentioned the 6 origins of money blocks earlier. We talked about our money origin story yesterday on the live. I'm going to list them again. You're probably going to feel an intuitive hit, like right when you hear it. So if you have the prosperity blocks list, there's like 100 listed there. If you're on the email you've received to the ebooks, then you can take a look at them. And if you're having a hard time identifying one, then I would invite you to read through the actual things that we can say to ourselves that might help bring clarity to that. Number 1, working hard equals success. 2, money isn't spiritual. 3, money is evil. 4, just general beliefs about wealthy people. 5, scarcity thoughts or shame around failure and debt. It's a very low vibration. We get stuck. We can't move forward. We just can't see how we can possibly be supported in moving forward. Or lastly, that money is not aligned with our beliefs and values. And if you listen to what I just said in the last few minutes, it's not about you. There is a bigger why, and the bigger why, people who have that bigger why are the people who have the greatest success in my experience in supporting women. When you have that bigger why, it's not just about your personal quality of life. That is what leads people to greater success, because they realize that they're part of this collective consciousness shifting the energy in the world. And we're in it right now. We're in a time, in a place where you get to, this is why influencers make so much money. You get to choose how you're going to be paid, what you're going to be paid, how much time and energy you're going to put into it. It's an easy world if you have the right tools and support to be a 6-figure entrepreneur. It was not like that 20 years ago, 25 years ago when I graduated from college, and even before that. But it is today. I've already built my daughter's websites. I've already got them tracking their expenses. And yeah, of course, my older daughter got accepted into 4 years of college in Florence, Italy, but she's also going to learn how to brand herself and run her own business so that she gets to do what she loves. So revisiting the money origin story from yesterday, which helps us to identify one of our 6 money blocks that I just listed. Hard work equals success. Money isn't spiritual. Money is evil. Beliefs about wealthy people. Scarcity and shame around failure or debt, and that money isn't aligned with our beliefs and values. If you have any of these, you're blocking yourself from receiving prosperity, from financial freedom, from showing up in your highest level of service. You're blocking yourself right now. So, money origin story, revisiting from yesterday, couple journal prompts. In this prosperity journal, if you don't have it, it's $22 on Amazon. There is a back order shipping delay right now, so go ahead and place your order soon so that you can be involved in this. What beliefs did you hear about money growing up? Go ahead and chime in the comments. What beliefs about money did you hear growing up? What choices or major decisions or life events have been affected by money? I went to a federal service academy that was paid for by the government, and it was not a pleasant experience, so that I wouldn't have college loans and debt. So that's an example. Where I chose to get married on a beach in Hawaii I chose that because it was going to cost less than having some extravagant wedding and plus it was more fun anyways. So what major life events have been affected by money? Recall maybe buying a house, getting married, getting divorced, where you went to college, where you live. Think about those. Recall a time of abundance or gratitude in your life. So this is really important, because if you cannot connect to a time of abundance or gratitude in your life, then you've got a lot of inner work to do to get there. All of us have moments where we can feel super grateful, whether it's the birth of a child or a marriage or a connection, something that we really enjoy, a gift that we received, a piece of chocolate cake. Connect with those moments where you felt gratitude or you felt abundant. Maybe you got a raise at work. Maybe you have a new job opportunity. Maybe you got like an amazing client that you're just like, I can't believe I get paid to work with this like super awesome person. Maybe you got an opportunity to speak or to collaborate with somebody. I just was asked about an hour ago to collaborate with a super amazing woman. Like, those are abundant opportunities. So getting super clear on when have you had those time of abundance. And then on the other side, what happened in your life around lack or trust or scarcity? Because that's probably creating a pattern for you. What sabotaging behaviors do you notice around your health? What sabotaging behaviors do you have around love? And what sabotaging behaviors do you notice with money and spending? If you're being honest with yourself, and I've been working with several private clients this week because we've been doing this prosperity experience, this conversation's been coming up for many of us where, we start to recognize emotional spending patterns. So recognize, are you, and I have a good podcast on this, are you a conscious investor or unconscious spender? Because creator consciousness, which is part of prosperity, there's no room for consumerism in it. So, and by that, I mean, if we can consume in different ways, we can consume material things, but we can also consume too much knowledge. We can consume too many misaligned relationships. If you have, it's really about being clear and intentional and in alignment in every choice that you make and making sure that it's aligned with your values. So always asking yourself, is this aligned with my values? Is it the right time? Is this necessary? Am I ready for this? Before you make that decision to invest in something. All right, so we're going to take together, if you're looking at your ebook, we're going to take one of those old money beliefs that you have that showed up for you, and we're going to reframe it. So an example that I gave you is, I don't have the money to do this program I want to do. I don't have the money to go on this retreat that I want to do. I don't have the money to go on a trip that I want to do with my girlfriends. This is a very broad, simple one. I don't have the money. If that is something that you hear yourself say, or that's too expensive, or I don't have any clients, or no one supports me in what I do, any of those that can come up. Let's just take the very, very basic, easy one that I hear people say all the time. I just don't have the funds to do that. We shift that into, I am willing to look at the resources available so that I can make the decision to what I want in life, to where I want to go. To if you can see something, if you have a vision, it's already there for you. Your belief about how to get there is what's blocking you. When you start shifting into what's not working to what is working, you get there faster. The people that are ready to support you all of a sudden just show up like at the right time. This happens a lot in my world. Like, somebody is all of a sudden aligned with the word trust or prosperity, and they're ready for it this year, and then I'm speaking it, and then, okay, boom, we get to create magic together. Or for me, when I start like thinking the things that are important for me in that moment, then all of a sudden, like, whatever I need all of a sudden becomes available. I start speaking the same language as somebody else, and I'm like, okay, this person's coming into my life because I subconsciously asked for this. Now I get to choose, am I willing to receive this help or not? So we take the belief, I don't have the money, to what can I create? What resources are available? How can I be creative in order to allow myself to receive the financial support that I need to make the decision to do the thing I want to do? Go on your 50th birthday trip with your girlfriends. Sign up for a personal development course. Invest in creating your own business, whether it's the business license or just getting your book set up, whatever it is, whatever you think you don't have available right now, you're choosing not to see what is working, and you're choosing to not be in creator consciousness. You think you have to have what you need to move forward. And we talked about this yesterday with Audrey. It was a beautiful conversation. How to make the intangible and the tangible come together, because it is important to be intentional with money in your business without letting it restrict you or limit you, but using it as a tool to have clarity so that you can trust yourself and decisions moving forward and know that you may make mistakes. It might happen because we're human, and that's what we do, and that's how we get clarity about what works and what doesn't work. So here's another journaling prompt I want to leave you with. Now that you've shifted your money belief, I wonder what it will feel like when I shift into this new belief. So whatever your new belief is, I wonder what it'll feel like when I take ownership of creating the thing that is going to allow me the financial choice to invest in the thing I want. What's that going to feel like? Take yourself into the future. It's a really good feeling. And then when you get there, it's an even better feeling because you have the courage to take the aligned action to do the thing you wanted to do to get to where you wanted to go. Most people, I'd say 95% of the people, are sitting on the sidelines watching. But if you're here, you're not one of those people. So what's it going to feel like when you take that aligned action to that thing that you want? Okay, lastly, we're going to talk about aligning to the frequency of wealth through aligned action. And so here's this quote by Wayne Dyer that I have. It's also in the journal. If you want to experience prosperity at a miraculous level, you must leave behind your old ways of thinking and develop a new way of imagining what is possible for you to experience your life. So that basically sums up everything we've been talking about today. This is about shifting what we started with, the quote from Gandhi. I'm going to read it again. It's in your book. Both these quotes are in your prosperity journal. In the very beginning, of course, because I think that they're so important. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits. That's where you get to embody it. Your habits become your values, and your values become your destinies. So if you start with what your values are you thinking, doing, saying, and being in the way that is aligned with the destiny? The values, are your values aligned with your destiny? Are you thinking, saying, doing, and being in a way every day that is aligned with who you want to become? And if you want to live in prosperity consciousness, it's going to require you to embody that extra deep layer of trust, because prosperity is embodied trust. Prosperity is not for everyone. It's for those that are ready and willing to live above the normal societal cultural norms. It's for the person ready to willing to be outside the box, isn't really interested with quantity, but more concerned with quality, with the energy and intention behind everything that they do. It's the person who knows so deeply in their purpose that they're willing to take aligned action and make choices even when there is just no idea that there's a guaranteed result. Because the truth is we don't actually know. We're not in control. But the more that we think, say, do, and be, that energy towards that intention, towards that vision, the more we become that experience. So, I'm going to leave you with a couple of podcast episodes on the Body and Soul Wisdom podcast. If you're loving this conversation, to dive in a little bit deeper. If you start with episode 154, that's creator versus consumer consciousness. You'll then move, then there's an episode 155 that is not part of prosperity, but you go to 156 through 165. You'll find a 10-week prosperity series. Episode 136 is an I Am Worthy meditation. 135 is Amplify Your Voice and Values in the World. 134, a visualization to embody prosperity. 133, Allow Your Passion to Create Prosperity. 132, the energy of prosperity. So essentially, if you look at the Body and Soul Wisdom podcast, you go to episode 132 to 136, you've got some visualizations and meditations to get you in the energy of prosperity. Then you go to 154 to 165. You've got an entire 10-week series on prosperity consciousness. And then episode 85 is a prosperity prayer, which so my word for the year for 2021, I think it was prosperity. This was the first episode of 2021. And it's really just a really nice receiving of the intention of receiving prosperity this year. So once you're clear on what that is for you, time freedom, financial resources, nourishment and health, love and intimacy, and it shows up in so many different ways for so many different people, then I would invite you to create the thoughts, beliefs, actions, habits, the embodiment of that person, become that person, and watch the magic happen. If you're looking to expand upon this opportunity, I host a group prosperity circle every year, one time a year, and we are opening it this week. Enrollment closes the end of January. We meet weekly. We dive much deeper. There's an entire course around this that goes so much deeper into your money saboteurs, your money love language, money wellness, money blocks, the energetics of wealth, 4 levels to financial freedom, creating your legacy. It goes into attachment style theory. So there's so many pieces to it that we dive deeper, and this is where the shift really happens. I think 95% of the women in the last 4 years have created, or not I don't know exactly the percentage, but most of them have created more financial income just while they're in the program. And lastly, I have a poem to share with you that I wrote. So I hope you enjoy this. The woman who stands quietly confident flows through life with ease and grace. She no longer identifies with the need to prove herself, overwork, overachieve, people please, or for external validation. She takes time every day for stillness, movement, and nourishment. She embodies confidence and clarity, sovereignty, and integrity. She does not spin in cycles of sabotage through procrastination and indecision. She acknowledges perceived mistakes as learning opportunities and clarity for what does not work. She stands in clarity, creating healthy boundaries. She trusts her intuition. She allows the grace of God to flow through her abundantly. She loves and is loved deeply. She knows her needs and makes requests for the support she needs. She receives abundantly in love, nourishment, joy, and wealth. She isn't afraid to speak her truth. She's strong enough to release attachments. She invests in mentors and support. She leads in purpose from her passion. She is a balance of nurturing love and fierce courage. She has a passion for life, and creativity runs through her. She sees beyond the veil and all that holds everyone else back. She takes aligned action in her gifts and embodied truth. She embodies prosperity consciousness. She gives and receives with no expectation or attachment, and she lives in freedom. Are you ready to meet her? So that's a poem that I wrote a couple of years ago as I was creating this prosperity journal and course that really resonated with my personal experience and the shifts and transition that I was witnessing other women make through the course of prosperity. So thank you for joining me today. I will drop the links below on where you can find this prosperity journal if you want to dive deeper and join our prosperity circle for 2024 and also the podcast series. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining. Aloha.